Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the LAN Party Podcast. Today is Tuesday, and with our ongoing coverage of Bethesda and other companies being not as good as they could be, we've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
today.
we're just going to dive right into it. But before that, happy November, everybody. This is the first podcast in November. Hopefully everybody had a good Halloween. It was fucking cold and windy here.
Yeah, now it's 50 degrees.
Yeah. I had to work on Halloween, and for those of you who are living under a rock and are not aware, I do work in a lumber yard. So I'm outside all day, driving a forklift with no fucking windshield, and when the wind chill is 23 degrees, and the wind's blowing like 24 mile an hour, and you're out there driving in a headwind, it's fucking cold.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Like, I would constantly hide inside the buildings in between, like, stacks of lumber just to try and stay out of the wind. Because if you go between the buildings, it's just a wind tunnel.
Are you going to get some coveralls and be one of those dudes that are just in full Carhartt tan?
No. No, because you ain't gonna... I'm not worried about keeping a tan. And besides, the only thing that would get tan maybe in the winter, if there's any sun enough to tan me, is my face, because I will be covered head to toe.
I said full Carhartt tan, as in you're in head to toe in Carhartt.
Oh, got you. Yeah. That's probably closer to it. But yeah, so we're all aware of the whole Fallout First.
Yeah.
Chaos. So, they released an update today, Nate, to Fallout 76.
Oh, yeah?
Updating. Say something again.
Oh, yeah?
Bring your mic closer to your face.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah?
But,
Oh, yeah? Oh,
it
yeah?
seems... Please, stop. It seems they've released some new content for Fallout First subscribers.
Oh, boy.
It's a new Veteran Ranger skin. It's called, I think, the Riot skin. You have to pay for it.
Of course you do.
$5
They released it for their Fallout First subscribers, and they still have to fucking pay for it?
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
I am not. I am being dead serious. It is 500 Atom points, which comes out roughly to $5. So,
wow.
and this was part of a data mined batch.
$105 for your favorite shit.
Oh no, worse than that, because this was data mined out of a batch of content for Fallout First people, and what it looks like is going to happen is every month they're going to add a new skin to the Atomic Shop for Fallout First members exclusively. So every month you're paying $13 a month or whatever, but then you're also paying $5 a month to get the skin. Or, you could view it as you're taking it out of your allotted atoms every month. So instead of getting 1,650 atoms, you're getting 1,150 atoms. But still, what the fuck?
Wow.
They're even taking advantage of the people that are like actually supporting this shitty program.
That's just horrible. That's horrible.
Why? I don't get it. I really, really don't. I cannot fathom where all these bad decisions keep coming from. By the way, last week on Tuesday, I completely forgot. The whole system broke. Like on Wednesday, I guess this is why we didn't talk about it. Wednesday afternoon, everybody that subscribed to Fallout First, all their access just disappeared.
Oops.
Like it was gone.
They can't even fucking release a subscription without bugs. What the fuck?
It's just problematic all around. And apparently now there's a bunch of rumors about they're going to continue pushing this whole pay to win idea. And they're going to start releasing stuff that's a little more borderline pay to win.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And the leaker was talking about, if you want this to not happen, you need to be verbal about it. Like, show the community does not want these things in their games. But then not to mention, apparently now there's an internal memo going around at Bethesda about YouTubers and content creators that are covering Fallout First in a negative connotation, as in they don't support it. Nobody at Bethesda is allowed to interact with any of those people without HR having the final say. And they plan on refuting all of their claims based on I think that the words they used were "don't bite the hand that feeds you" sort of thing. So they're going to attack content creators for expressing their opinion on this absolutely shitty subscription service.
Wow. That's goddamn. I'm so disappointed in everything that's happening right now.
I am too.
On all fronts. Like, I don't know if you guys have looked into the news behind Activision Blizzard right now.
Oh yeah, they're under a significant amount of fire.
And the Hong Kong shit.
Because they banned somebody.
Yeah, they banned a Chinese streamer because he said on a stream in an interview, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our time," somewhere along those lines, and they banned him for a year
and took away his award money
that was already awarded to him.
Yeah,
and they fired the two casters on the streaming site, even though they couldn't do anything about it, and they did what they could about it. They fired both of them, and then during BlizzCon, their president made an apology statement, and part of that apology, he was just like, yeah, we like to respect that everybody's allowed to express themselves. And it's just like,
bullshit.
That guy's still not allowed to play.
Yeah, I think I actually heard that, because they said that and somebody followed that apology with, okay, is so-and-so still able to play? And they're like, no, we're keeping his ban terms as they are. We are not appealing the ban. And I'm like,
but you just said you want everybody to express themselves and have freedom. You're actively suppressing one specific shout out, and it's humanitarian cause.
They picked a real bad time to announce Diablo 4, didn't they? Because now everybody's pissed. That's probably why they announced it.
Diablo 4 won't be out until like 2050. So.
What is it with that fucking microphone?
They announced it though, so.
Yeah.
2050.
But they probably announced it so they could cover up all that bullshit.
That's why.
Oh, it's backwards.
It's backwards? How did that even happen?
I don't fucking know.
Has it been backwards this whole time?
Wow, you already sound way better. You don't sound like you're talking out of a Campbell's soup can.
No, but like Diablo games are like once every like decade.
Well,
seriously, dude.
Still though, like they
it's a civil rights cause.
They were under fire. Yeah, Blizzard needs to get their shit like together, because last year at BlizzCon they dropped the whole Diablo Immortal bombshell, and that pissed everyone off.
That was a poor move.
And now they ban this person, and then they release a half-assed, not sincere apology, and they're like, "Oh, but Diablo 4's coming."
Yeah,
there's that.
Don't forget Overwatch 2.
I swear to you, I guarantee you, they announced, because did they actually have gameplay footage in any of those trailers? You would know, because you probably pay more attention to it.
I haven't watched any of
Yeah,
them.
I haven't looked it up.
I don't know. If there wasn't gameplay, though, I guarantee you they threw together a little animated cinematic just to try to appease people.
Little animated cinematic and a big title reveal.
Yeah. Like, hey, it's coming.
This might be a rushed game to make up for Diablo Immortal.
Probably. Did that ever release?
I think so.
I think it did. It's just, you know, it received the
cold shoulder.
Yeah, it received the attention you'd expect it to receive.
I would have expected it to receive actually poor attention. Like, I would have expected it to be focused in the press as a bad title. Not just
not,
no, they just fucking left it to rot in the hole it came in.
It's probably not bad. It's just, you know, a mobile game.
Yeah, that's probably it.
So there's not really that many people playing it. The people who are playing are just like, they're on the train, they play it for a few minutes, like, okay, that was fun.
All right, I got to play Diablo. Now it's time to go to work. Now I'm curious. I'm gonna pop onto the Play Store here. Diablo Immortal. Coming soon.
It's still not out?
It is still not out. You can pre-register on the Play Store.
I mean, I don't think it's...
Come on.
I don't think it's going to get bad reviews. I think the reason everybody's upset is because they're not making a new Diablo game on PC, where they always make Diablo games. It's like the thing.
That's true. How can you announce a game a year ago now and still have coming soon as your release date?
That's how they do it with Diablo, dude. I'm telling you. They announced Diablo 4. Watch, we won't see it for like 10, 20 years.
I feel like that's a bit of an exaggeration.
We'll see.
But still, God, fucking Activision Blizzard's just ass. They suck.
Dropping the ball, man. Dropping the ball.
They
and I can't believe
suck.
I can't believe. Okay, I can understand if they want to protect their investments in China that they banned the streamer, right? They banned
for a whole fucking year though.
But I can understand their logic. Not that I agree with it. I think it's stupid and dumb, and they shouldn't have done it. But what I don't understand is they fired the casters too.
Yeah.
They literally didn't have anything to do with that. That guy, it was a post-game stream, and they were like, okay, let's interview this guy, and he was just like...
That's like the suits at the news station firing, like, the journalists or the interviewers who are talking to the person, and the person just randomly spews out a bunch of bullshit that the news station doesn't want. They're like, nope, you two are fired, get out. And they're like...
Yeah, like you're interviewing somebody, and they're just like, go fuck yourself. And it's like, okay, the anchor's fired. What could he have done about that? I mean, you can't exactly stop them from saying that. And I mean, the casters, even whenever that guy started saying that shit, they put their heads under their desks because they didn't want to be associated with it. They did the best they could to avoid the flack from that, and they still got fired. Like, are you kidding me?
There were actually tweets, too, by the way. Somebody, I don't remember who, because I know what you're talking about. Now that you mention it, I completely forgot I wanted to talk about that. But somebody relevant to the subject, and I don't remember if it was the employer of somebody somewhere who was related to Blizzard somehow, posted on social media that, and kind of the same thing that you said, he understood the logic behind banning so-and-so, but did not condone any of how that situation was handled. Pretty much, like on Twitter, pretty much just went after Activision Blizzard and said, I don't think they should have done this. This was wrong. It completely, goes against this whole we want people to... And Blizzard made him delete the fucking tweet.
Yeah, I know. It's like, are you fucking kidding me, guys?
I'm like, hold on. So you ban somebody for voicing their opinion, and then you come out with an apology that says, we encourage people to voice their opinion. And when somebody asks you post-apology, will you appeal that the person's ban? You're like, no, we're leaving the ban in there. And then this person comes out and voices his opinion on how you handled the subject, and you make him delete the tweet.
Man.
It makes no sense.
Pathetic. You guys are obviously pandering. You know what they say, actions speak louder than words, and your actions they're speaking pretty darn loudly right now.
I am so glad that Bungie got away from Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, Bungie, don't do anything fucking dumb like this. Please, for the love of God,
well,
you're the last bastion.
They're not necessarily innocent, but...
Yeah, I know,
they've
but
handled some stuff shitty in the past, but...
They can come back from it, okay?
I'm just glad they got...
Compared to what Activision Blizzard and Bethesda and some other companies have done so far,
EA. Sorry.
Bungie can come back from what they did. All they did was they treated one employee really badly, and they can come back from that. They haven't fucked over their entire consumer base.
They're on the up right now because, they broke away from Activision Blizzard, and now Destiny 2 has a free version.
Right.
And it's available on Steam.
Yeah.
Praise be Jesus. It only took, 3 years? 2 years? How long's Destiny 2 been out?
A while.
2 years.
2 years sounds about right. Because it came out shortly.
I think it's 3 years, actually.
It came out right around when I built this computer. Because it was included with my graphics card. That's how I got a copy. And then I played it and told you should play it. And you liked it. and we played together for a while, and we got the season pass. We actually haven't played it in a while. I think they released a new DLC too.
Did you get the season pass?
I think you got it for me. Because
Yeah,
you
it was
wanted
2
to go.
years ago, September 6, 2017.
Well, because you got the season pass, and you wanted to go do stuff that I couldn't, and you're like, fuck it, and you went and bought me the season pass when it went on sale.
I don't remember doing that.
I'm pretty sure you did that, or you bought me a DLC, one or the
I
other.
thought we stopped playing because I had the DLCs and you didn't have them.
Mm-mm.
Why the hell aren't we playing it?
I don't fucking know. I'll tell you why we aren't playing it. More than likely is because we had done most of what we could do story-wise in the game, and we were just kind of grinding out stuff, and it got a little bland, so we quit. It's one of those games, like, it's not a bad game. It's one of those games where you play it for a while, and then you're just like, all right, I need a break, and you put it down for like 3 or 4 months.
Once you finish like the missions and stuff, there's not anything to do.
Yeah, just going around and grinding for gear, and doing raids.
Yeah.
Which are fucking hard. We haven't done any raids. At least it's hard for our light level or whatever. I mean, yeah.
Hey man, there's a guy who completed the latest raid at the lowest level he could possibly be.
Well, I'm not a tryhard.
So you guys can totally do it.
But no, like, I think Destiny 2 is one of those games where, like, it's not a bad game. It's a pretty solid game. It's a fun game. But, you know, you play it for a while and you just take a break from playing it, and then...
Doesn't have a whole lot of replayability.
Yeah. The multiplayer is pretty engaging. I remember we had a good time playing the competitive matchmaking.
Yeah.
Because it was very much Halo-like, which I liked about it. And, I mean, you could tell. I mean, obviously, Bungie had a hand at both games. A heavy hand. But, I mean, it was nice to have that kind of more arcade-style, just point-and-shoot game. Which has me, again, super excited for Halo Reach finally coming to Master Chief Collection. And we have a little bit more information on how, or possibly why Forge won't be coming at launch. So somebody found some strings and when I say strings, I'm talking like strings of code in the back end of the current flight that's happening right now, because there is a PC flight going on right now for pretty much every feature that's going to be in the game at launch. Firefight, matchmaking, campaign missions, shit like that. And he found some strings that essentially he downloaded them, somehow finagled them into a Forge game. And I don't know how he got Forge on his PC. Maybe he was recording on his PC, but he was playing on his Xbox. More vehicles, like civilian warthogs. What is it? The Saber is a flying vehicle in Halo.
Really?
A ton of the vehicles that were in like the Halo campaign that were not available in Forge. Unfortunately, no Pelican and no Phantom.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
But
fair.
There was a Falcon that had a nose turret on it. Like tons of vehicles, and he's thinking that might be one of the reasons that Forge is going to be delayed to post-launch, because they want to make sure all that stuff comes out right. But they've talked more about the progression system and how everything is going to work. So essentially, it's going to be across the board in Master Chief Collection. It's not just going to be Halo Reach progression. So you do stuff, you do weekly challenges in Halo Reach, and it levels you up in the Master Chief Collection. And the higher level you are, they're going to launch with Reach this new progression system that will allow you in future titles to buy new pieces of armor, because the way it is in Master Chief Collection now is you can wear the Mark IV armor, or you can wear the Mark V armor, or you can wear the Hayabusa armor. You can't be like, I want this helmet, this shoulder pad, these knee pads, this chest plate. But it sounds like they're going to try to roll out a similar customization scheme across Master Chief Collection, and then you'll have your MCC progression that will contribute to all of that. Like, you'll have a global progression in MCC. So I'm super excited about Reach. And it looks like they're really pushing for a 2019 release. Like, just based off of the fact that the PC flight has several types of firefight, like 2 or 3 maps. You've got several types of matchmaking with 2 or 3 maps. You've got 2 campaign missions loaded in. You have a cinematic loaded in this new flight. Like, we're getting to the wire here on Halo Reach coming to PC, which is super exciting.
Sounds like a good time.
It won't be crossplay.
Darn.
The PC versions will be able to play with each other, but at launch, they did clarify that it is at launch. They're going to see what happens. They didn't say no, but they didn't say yes. Right. But at launch, we won't be able to play with Xbox players. Only Xbox people will be able to play with Xbox people, and PC people can play with PC people, which honestly, for the vast majority of people, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, but I mean,
for people like us, where we've got, that play on PC.
Yeah, until we throw in, like, Forge games and stuff like that. Massive Forge games where literally everybody's just fucking around.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time. Gonna bring back a lot of memories.
You could also, get a PC sometime and then be able to play with us.
That's
honestly, though, when we did our Halo 5 Forge stuff, which, by the way, Gandhi found some fucking awesome game modes and maps. Like the Avalanche map, which turned into not trying to avoid the boulders tumbling down the hill. It was just trying to not get shot by Nate.
Nice.
That's how Nate played that game. But you could play with us in that one. Halo 5 Forge is cross-platform, I think.
Really?
I just don't think the rest of the game is, obviously, because we only have Forge.
You only have the Forge.
Right.
Right.
We played... What else did we do? We did golf. We played the toilet bowl game mode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I liked the one where we had to jump in the little box, and there was one person with a sniper rifle, and they had to shoot everybody as we jumped. You remember that one? Where, like, it would have these the blocks on the underneath you would push you up, and it would force you up over a field, like a shield.
Oh, yeah.
And they had to try to shoot you while you were above.
Yeah.
That one was super fun.
Fun.
That's pretty much exactly what it was.
Skeet shooting, but with people.
Pull! I'm super... Halo Reach was an absolute blast. And I mean, part of that, I know everybody says that Halo 3 is the Halo game. But my first Halo experience was Halo Reach. And I just have such fond memories of...
It's got a lot to do with everybody's favorite Halo games.
Right.
Because a lot of people with Halo 2, a lot of people with Halo 3, and a lot of people with Halo Reach. Not a whole lot of people with Halo 4.
Yeah, well, Halo 4 was all right. I didn't mind Halo 4. Halo 5, I just could not finish it. I couldn't. It just was not... It was not near as fun. Because it was less about Chief and more about everyone else. And I'm like, this is not fun. I want to play as the Master fucking Chief. But I mean, Nate and I used to do stupid shit in Reach. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I don't even know if I could tell you how many hours I've sunk into both Halo Reach and Halo 3.
Remember all those times that we would be sitting around trying to build our bases, and one of us would inevitably just fly over, plop down a kill ball on the other person's forge ball, and go boop, and they'd explode, and they'd just lose their shit.
Yeah, it was
good times.
Are you serious?
Are you fucking kidding me?
And then there'd be, a 10 or 15 minute interlude where we would just have to quit building bases because we'd just be going after each other with kill balls.
Or finding interesting ways of throwing kill balls at people's bases, so you're not like going up to them and dropping it on them. You're finding an interesting way to throw it at them.
I remember I used to slingshot you across the map when you didn't expect it with the grid. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Like you'd be in the forge ball, and I'd just go
swing the grid, and if it doesn't fucking kill them.
Yeah, it usually blew him up, but sometimes he'd get pushed away. You see, I have funny moments, but he has more epic ones because he's got the better kills. Like the one with me on the Revenant flying around at the bottom of the spire. And he shot at me once. I'm like, you're not gonna kill me, so you might as well just give up. And then the second time he shot me, it was a headshot and I died. And he just lost. He probably one of your best kills in Halo. I don't know that there's any better than that one.
My point of view, it was pretty awesome because I shot you milliseconds before you went out of view, and it was like a quick scope. Like you're going past us like bam, and then I didn't even see what happened after that because you were gone. You died, so I was like, fuck you.
And then when he realized I died, he just got this inflated ego, like I could do anything. We used to do stupid shit, like just absolutely. I remember you, me, and Nick would come home, and we'd go over to your place, and we'd sit down, and we'd spend like 45 minutes building a base, and we would just have sniper wars.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where it got really annoying because we all at first we built bases, like actual bases on the map. And then I had the idea of using rocks, and I built like a base on the ground with rocks, and that got me a couple good kills. And then you took it a step further and built on sides of mountains, and Nick kind of followed us, and then I started building on sides of mountains, so all three of us just started building rock faces on the sides of mountains with just enough of a gap for us to get a sniper rifle out, which made it impossible for other people to kill us. And then, after several sessions of that, Nate decided to take it one step further and hide in the fucking clouds. He just put a grid in the sky. One of the blue grids in the sky, and he put it high enough up so that it blended in with the sky and nobody could tell it was there. So he just started raining death upon because he was in the center of the map.
Yeah, that was super effective. And then I think you got pissed off and started trying to find me.
Yeah, I did. And I think when I did find you, I dropped a kill ball on it.
Yeah, you did.
One of my favorite maps that I've played on was one my brother built, and it was a box. It was a big box, right? And it had one section here, and it had like bases and buildings built up like a regular map in this one section, right? But it was mirrored on all the walls.
Oh God.
So you had buildings above you hanging down that you could attempt to climb up on, and then you had buildings on the other side of the wall and behind you and on the other sides too, like hanging out. But the worst part about the map was the entire thing was tilted at a 45.
Oh my God.
So the bottom of the map was one of the corners. So yeah, it could be really confusing running around in that map, but it was so cool.
Do you remember when we all played with Jeffrey was there, and I think Nick, and maybe even Derek in Halo 4? And we had built a map, one of the Forge maps we built, and then I can't
Derek
remember.
Was there because he's the one knocked out my
the
power.
Internet.
The power.
The whole power,
yeah,
that's
the
right.
Whole power.
And you and Jeffrey were just kind of quiet the whole time, and they're like, all right, what weapon sets are we going to use? And at first, you all asked if we could use binary rifles, and I'm like, I don't fucking see what's the problem with a binary rifle. It's not that big a deal. And then you two, as soon as you found out you could use binary rifles, you're like, Jeffrey and I'll be on our team by ourselves. And we're like, what? That's 4 against 2. Like, you're going to get eradicated. And you're like, no, we're good. And you guys put down 1 binary rifle each and active camo. And we would just be running through the inside of the building, and next thing we know, we just turned to ash.
You guys allowed bottomless clip, which was what
Yeah.
the mistake was. So we could just take the binary rifles and go pew 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 pew, bring down instant death.
And it was like, you guys got to a point where you were being strategic about it, because we'd start looking for the red light that came out. So what would happen is one of you would pop out and aim with the red light, and the other one would quick scope the person that was being aimed at. So from a different area. So we're tracing the red light, and then out of the right side of our screen is just boom, ash. That was one of the most miserable games I've ever played.
Oh, it was so good. Until you guys picked up binary rifles too. Then it was a shit show. Just ashes everywhere.
If I'm not mistaken, they nerfed the binary rifle a little bit in Halo 5, did they not?
I don't know, but I mean, in regular game, it's fine because it's 2-shot, and
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't have bottomless clip.
yeah, it's 2-shot, and I think there's a reload time between both shots too, so it's really not a problem in actual game. But whenever you put on bottomless clip,
I was so
Zap.
mad. I was so mad because I'm like, they're gonna lose because it's 4 against 2. There's no way they win, and they fucking won.
it's like that SpongeBob episode where Plankton dreams he's huge. Zap, zap.
And then your capture the flag incident with Josh.
Oh man, that was great.
That was one for the book.
Ah, click.
Josh has gone offline. Oh God. There has never been a person that I've wanted to make mad in a video game more than I've wanted to make Josh mad. And it's been that stemmed solely from the capture the flag moment where Nate ran over him.
It's so funny. His rage is hilarious.
Because he was really quiet and you just started, "Ah!" And then you heard the disconnect sound for Xbox. And he,
Yeah,
boop.
Josh has left the party. Josh is offline.
I had to message him one day, be like, so you remember when we were playing Halo Reach? Or not Halo Reach. You remember when we were playing Halo 4?
No, it was Halo Reach.
No, it was 4.
Are you sure?
It was on the map with the big bridge in the middle, and then you had the fort over here, and
I'm pretty sure it was on.
it was
the
on
Blood
it was
Gulch
on Halo.
replica.
Mm-mm.
I remember it being
I
on the
am-
Blood Gulch replica.
I
on
vividly
Halo-
remember it was Halo
Reach.
4.
You say
Crystal
so.
clear. Yep.
Say so.
Because it was similar to Blood Gulch where it had 2-round bases, but then it had a bunch of bridge work in the middle, and then there was like a land bridge. It was the one with the big ravine in Halo 4, the Forge map that had the big ravine in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It was that map.
I don't think it was, but
It was.
if you say so.
But well, Nate, you'd probably remember better than anybody. Halo 4 or Halo Reach?
What?
When you killed Josh and captured the flag.
Pretty sure it was Reach.
Pretty sure it was 4 because I don't think we really knew Josh when we were playing Reach.
It was towards the end of the lifespan of Reach.
Come on, you're the one that fucking vehicular manslaughtered him.
I think it was Reach.
I think you're wrong. I think it was Halo 4. But either way, I should message you and be like, you remember that one time we were playing Halo? You captured the flag? And Nate gave you a lift back to the base. And when you got out with the flag, he smashed you against the base and cashed in for you.
Captured the flag.
You just see the ... for Josh's typing. He's like, yep.
No, it's
Dot,
one,
dot.
it's one of those things where you see the ... it disappears, it comes back, it disappears, it comes back, and he's typing for like 20 minutes like that, and then finally it's yep.
Yep. That's exactly what it would be. Like, you wanna play some Halo Reach with us sometime? It's about to come back to PC. Nope. You know, if he did that though, Nate, that'd have to be the first thing you did. Is if we ever got Josh to play Halo with us on PC,
Yeah, we gotta play capture the flag, man.
play capture the flag, but you would have to not remind him about it until like he's about to cash in the flag.
It's
Like,
like, hey man, you want
it's
to
like
be like the good old days when we play capture the flag on Halo?
be like,
Reach?
yeah. And it's like you're driving to the base and you stop just shy of the base. Like, come on, Josh, get out, turn in the flag. And he jumps out and he's walking back to the base. Be like, man, you remember that one time I ran you over and cashed in the flag while you were running to the base? It's like, oh yeah, that sucked. Smash! Grab the flag, turn it in.
Oh man.
Oh, that would make him so mad.
I just remembered one of the funniest parts about Halo, and especially whenever you're playing capture the flag or something like that. When you get on the back of a mongoose with a flag, right? And then somebody hits air, so you just lean over and you punch the taillight and the fucking mongoose starts barrel rolling through the air.
God, I can't wait for Halo to come back to PC. Every time we talk about Halo, the
It's
nostalgia hits.
Nostalgia.
I really, really cannot wait for that game. It's gonna look so pretty. The system requirements are super low. It's going to run buttery smooth 60 FPS, 4K. Oh, I'm so excited. And they're running it on the Unreal Engine, which I've heard is better than what they ran it on, or what they ran on prior. I don't know what engine they built it on before, but they're building it on Unreal 3. So it looks pretty.
Yeah, if it runs well, it looks good. I don't really care what they're running it on, as long as it's still Halo.
Well, Unreal Engine is just it's a pretty solid engine. I'm pretty sure that's what Sea of Thieves is built on. It's the Unreal Engine. It's a good engine. You know, they were actually talking too. I was watching some of the developer stream. They're really pushing to get some of these private worlds into the hands of insiders soon. But they have talked about, which I expected and I don't have a problem with, but they mentioned that they want these private sessions in Sea of Thieves to be more focused on creating stuff and not necessarily they're like we don't want to detract from the shared world experience that is Sea of Thieves. They're like, we want that to remain. So they said they weren't ready to talk quite yet what was going to occur, but my suspicion is if you get any experience at all in any of the trading companies, it will be very low. Because
Right.
again,
They want to push for the shared world experience.
right. They're using it more for the people that do the Race of Legends, which is, you know, a session where people can just it's a group of people that organizes racing in Sea of Thieves from a bunch of different points. They have a rule set and it's really neat. Or you've got your tower defense at the Sea Dog Tavern where you've got all the Reaper's chests there and people come and fight over the Reaper's chests and blah 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 blah, and a couple other games. And they just want to have it so that people can create those and not have to work around the constraints of the shared world game to
Right.
make that stuff happen.
Don't have to worry about randos just coming in and fucking it all up.
Right. So I'm excited about that. What else? They did they said that they're taking feedback on combat, which is good. They've mentioned some other big stuff though, and I cannot remember what it was. They're doing some work internally on missions. They want to try to revitalize missions, make missions a little more repeatable, I guess, less the same everything. Right. But lots of neat stuff, and
Super neat.
of course, last week in the developer update, they had to give everybody the disclaimer that they're releasing cosmetics to the equipment sets in next month's patch. They're going to be festival themed, whatever they look like. I know what they look like, but I can't say. So, that drew quite the outcry. Which, again, in a time where we've got Bethesda to bitch about, who is charging a premium subscription service and then charging the premium subscribers $5 every month for premium subscriber exclusive cosmetics.
Wow.
Why are we getting mad at Rare for adding instrument skins?
Wow.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
But, and we had me and Chance, and I think you were there too, Nate. We had a pretty good discussion about the whole. Jared was there too, and Jared ended up kind of understanding it more from our point of view, but we kind of approached it with the whole hour per dollar rule, where like you get an hour of gameplay for every dollar that you spend. And Jared's like, well, by that logic, you're valuing your time at like $1 an hour. And I'm like, well, that's one way to look at it, yes. I'm like, I look at it as I got an hour of entertainment and I only spent $1. So, it's pretty solid. Everybody's looking at their fucking phones. Nate, did you see the new Bronco Baja truck thing?
No.
You ought to look it up. Although I wouldn't look up Baja truck thing, because that probably won't bring you up any solutions. Let me find it. It's built on the It's not the old Bronco body style, though. Like, it looks like they're using the new Ford Bronco for inspiration. The Bronco R. 2020 Bronco R. It's a trophy truck. It's not an actual Bronco. But it looks good. At least I like it.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
There's also a new Ram that's getting ready to come out. Well, I say getting ready to come out.
I mean, the 2020s are coming out for Ford. You want to
Loosely.
You want a Tremor?
I mean, I'd love to have one, but I don't really want the $100,000 price tag that it's going to come with.
I mean,
so Ram is making a new outdoor inspired Ram called the Rebel OTG. Anybody want to take a gander at what OTG stands for? Anybody?
Off the grid.
You looked it up, didn't you?
No. Is that right?
That's exactly it.
What was it again that you were talking about? I wasn't even really paying attention.
It's a new... Look it up. It's the Ram Rebel OTG. It is a pickup truck made by Dodge, or made by Ram, that essentially has a portable, like, tent structure that folds off the top of the truck.
So it's an Aztec that doesn't look like shit?
It's, well, yes.
Well,
but
yeah.
way better, because it's got, like, a canopy that comes off of the top of the truck. Nice. And wraps around. It's got a kitchen built into the bed.
Are you kidding
with
me?
Like a stovetop and cabinetry.
I might have to get this and just live in it.
It's freaking awesome.
What's it called again? The Ram?
The Ram Rebel OTG. Stands for off the grid. And on Drive Tribe, out of 241 votes, 95.9% said that they would buy that. And the other 4%.
How much is it?
There's no price on it. It was debuted at SEMA.
Yeah, 2019 SEMA.
Yep. But
it's
it looks so cool.
Yeah, I just fucking live in that shit.
Imagine if you wanted to go on a camping trip. All right, guys, let's go on a camping trip. Don't have to pack a tent.
Yeah, just hop in the truck.
Just get in the truck.
Just get in the truck and we'll go.
That'd be so nice. That truck, and it looks so good. Like, I like the new Ram trucks to begin with. Like, I think they look really good. But then when you add the whole fucking everything it comes with, that's super sweet. And while we're on automotive news, Nate probably doesn't care about half of this, but Alex Van Halen, the drummer from Van Halen, one of the founding members of Van Halen, is selling his Mazda RX-7 at a spectacularly low price of $44,000. Which, to be completely honest with you, might be expensive for an RX-7, but this RX-7 has been, which I know will anger a lot of purists out there, it has been swapped with an LS3, so it's making like 450 horsepower, and it's got a 6-speed Tremec gearbox to go with it, manual. And it's owned by fucking Alex Van Halen. For $44,000, you could own one of the most iconic sports cars of the 90s with one of the most popular and powerful crate motors of all time.
Owned
by one of the best drummers of all time.
That's a pretty good deal, dude. It's a good deal. Good deal.
I cannot believe it's only $44,000. When I saw that Alex Van Halen was selling an RX-7 and it had an LS in it, I'm like, dude, that's going to be like 80 grand. Easy 80 grand. Because a member of Van Halen owned it. A Van Halen owned it.
Yeah.
But no.
Not even a member of Van Halen. One of the Van Halens.
That'd be so much fun to have, though. Of course, Nate, you're probably not a big fan of the whole V8 thing.
V8 motor.
In the RX-7 that I linked you guys the other day.
I didn't see it. Where do you link it at?
This guy in the group chat.
Fucking group chat. Me and Tyler were talking about it. We were just talking about it.
Yeah, just now.
Literally seconds ago.
At least I can look at my phone and still hold a conversation. For the most part.
Nate doesn't have that many functional sections in his brain. He has to.
He's selectively attentive.
He has to compartmentalize everything.
He's selectively attentive. He listens to conversations like I eat my food. Okay, this thing, and then I move on to the steak, and then I move on to the potatoes. It's one at a time. It's not a little bit of steak, a little bit of potatoes. For him, it's like, okay, phone, what?
That's his chain. Need to check car parts. Need to check how much money I'm going to have so I can buy car parts. Need to see what's going on with the car world. What?
Having a conversation. Okay, delve into the conversation for a little bit.
That's pretty nice.
Hey, that's pretty good.
See, I don't think you grasp it, though.
Grasp what?
Do you grasp it?
Van Halen.
You firmly grasp it?
That's the drummer from Van Halen.
Yeah.
Firmly grasp it.
How much
Nate.
are they selling it for?
$44,000.
At least 8.
Seems a little high. I'd buy it for $30,000.
It is owned by a rock
I
star.
don't care. It's just an RX-7.
To you, it might be, but you realize that you could buy
I
that.
don't care if it was owned by the President of the United States.
Well, I don't either. I probably wouldn't buy it if it was bought by the. Owned by the
I don't care if it was owned by. I don't care who it was owned by.
Look,
It's still a
that is
car.
an investment car, though. That is a car that you buy for $44,000 and sit on for a couple years with proof that Alex Van Halen owned it. Hell, just get him to sign the dashboard.
And then just wait for him to die, and then you sell it for twice as much.
I mean, not even that. That's dark. I
How
would.
many miles is on it?
Not many. I think it's like 12,000.
That's pretty good.
If that. And I'm doubtful there's that many on it. I can't remember. I sent you the link, but heaven forbid you actually fucking read anything. Except when we're trying to hold a conversation. Then you go and read stuff. Let me see if I can't find it now. Here it is.
Juice.
Has a 6.2, making 450 to 500 horsepower, 6-speed gearbox, manual, 20,000
Why would you
miles.
go through all that work to put a V8 in it and make just about the same amount of horsepower you can make easily in a Wankel?
Because the Wankel rotary engine is unreliable. The
You don't want it
LS3
to
is
get
not.
blowed up. Because you're going to drive it
Don't
for,
get
like,
me
what,
wrong.
5,000 miles and it's going to explode.
He has enough money to fucking keep up with the rotary.
Yeah, but he's also, first and foremost, he is American.
The people who swap the engine are the people.
First off, he's American, so keep that in mind. He's like, he's probably one of those ones. Granted, he doesn't sound like he's from the deep south, but he's probably like, give me one of them V8 motors in it.
Why would he buy an RX-7 then?
He liked the body style, liked the look of the car, didn't like the engine.
It's not adding up very well.
I mean,
He
how does
could have
it
kept
not
the
add up?
rotary in there. Got a big. He even just got a big turbo put on there. Made 500
That's gonna make
horsepower,
it break easier
and it would have sounded freaking sick.
for about 4 days, and then the engine's gonna blow up.
No, it'll last longer than that.
Okay, I'm sorry, 12
5
days.
days.
Take it to a tuner who knows what they're doing, like Angel Motorsports, having them work on it.
Yeah, but again, it is no secret that even RX-7 owners and professional tuners, it is no secret that engine is not reliable. There's a reason they don't mass produce the rotary engine anymore.
The thing about bringing it back, I heard.
Well, they might have
New
to
and-
think very...
Yeah, Mazda is new and revised rotary
Maybe.
that they might bring out.
But an old 1990s rotary engine?
They're reliable enough to drive them and to race them because people still do.
If you had the opportunity, I mean, no, I'm not going to ask that question. It's just that they're not reliable. There's a reason the market on like the RX-8 is not that great.
If you can get at least 20,000 miles on a race car,
Okay, well, a race car, sure.
that's fine.
No problem.
He probably doesn't even drive that very much.
No, but
so
if
why
you're
not
trying,
keep it?
if you're talking about in a regular passenger car though, 20,000 miles on an engine is not acceptable.
No, it's not.
That's why they did away with them.
They got more than that though. On like a daily driver, I'm saying,
Or
if
even
you
a
got,
sports car you drive around
if you're
on
a
weekends.
car enthusiast and you're buying a race car, you're not going to drive all the time. An RX-7.
Yeah, but I mean,
And it's got a rotary motor.
Yeah,
the
but-
thing is,
and you build it,
too,
and you have it built by a professional tuner.
the thing is too is if you buy an RX-7, right, and you only drive it on the weekends, and you only put like maybe 20,000 miles on it a year.
Oh, you'd be way less than 20,000 miles a year.
But still, I mean, if you hit that shit, I mean, that's like replacing the engine every year,
You just
or
rebuild
even
it.
every 2 years.
You could do preventative maintenance. It costs a little bit less, so that way the engine never goes out.
I don't think that's how rotaries work, because
If you have money, though, it doesn't matter.
with the rotaries to do preventative maintenance on it, because it's the rotor that actually breaks most of the
Well,
time.
just replace to take it out, freaking machine it, and put it back in.
No, it's
It's got
the
a whole lot less moving parts than the gas motor, so it's
the-
easier to work
It's
with.
the gaskets on the motor.
We'll just replace them.
They just fail catastrophically. they don't gradually fail. It's just like
Or-
it goes and then it doesn't,
Or you could just spend $5,000 and get an LS
and then
and be done for ages.
then you
I
just change the oil.
That's why. And there's no telling why he did it. He maybe did it because he wanted an LS in it. Maybe he bought it that way.
Yeah, maybe he likes LSs.
We don't know. We don't know
I'm
if
just
he
saying,
bought
if
it with
was
an LS.
mine, I don't even have that much money as he does. I'd keep the rotary in it, and
Right.
I'd be hard pressed for money trying to keep it running. But the rotary it's just
I mean, yes,
God.
they sound good. They're cool. They're neat engines, but they were discontinued for
People
a reason.
make drag cars out of them, so they have to be somewhat reliable.
I'm not saying they're
if
not
you do the right work.
drag cars. They're going a half of a mile at a time.
Yeah, but you're pushing the motor as far as you can.
Okay,
on a
so
drag car.
yeah, you're pushing the motor real hard for 6 seconds, as opposed to driving it somewhat hard for 25 minutes a day or more. Probably closer to an hour a day whenever you drive it. Because let's be real. If you had an RX-7 with a rotary engine in it, you're not going to be real light on the throttle.
No.
It is. You want to hear
I
hear it
just-
at 9,000
I don't
RPM.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
I
You
don't
want to hear
know-
that baby bounce off the rev limiter at 9,000.
I don't know how accurate the whole super unreliable thing is, because
I don't think...
As a non-car guy, I mean, I even know how unreliable it is.
most of the people they made them, and they sold cars from the factory to the everyday consumer. With
Correct.
this motor. Most of the people who bought them are normal people who don't do regular maintenance, oil changes, and coolant flushes and stuff like that. So they got about 80,000 miles and they started having serious problems.
That article that I linked you all, though, was written by a car enthusiast who was a former RX-7 owner. And he said that Wankel just did not... It created more problems than not, the way he said it. Now,
Well,
he
they
kept
have-
his in.
you have
He
to
kept
do-
his in, but he did... I mean, I would imagine that somebody that's on this website writing up links about being a former RX-7 owner, Drive Tribe is for car enthusiasts. It's not for somebody who's going to go
I follow Angel Motorsports. It's a huge RX-7 tuner, and
Well, yes.
I'm just getting some disconnect.
How expensive is a tune from them, though?
Not very expensive.
Okay, but you probably have to have...
I
the
don't. Motorworks. I mean, about average motorwork. If you make $100,000 a year, it
If
doesn't matter.
most people don't,
If you make $50,000 a year, it's kind of like
I don't know. I have heard from car enthusiasts and not.
I'm not
that-
saying it's not.
that it's-
I'm not saying it's super reliable. I'm just saying I don't think it deserves the bad rap it gets.
Well, maybe if you ever own one, you'll understand.
You just you buy a used one, rebuild it to spec, take it to a tuner, have them look it over, have them recommend the gaskets and shit you need, the oil you need to run through it, and then fucking just keep up with the maintenance. It's gonna be expensive, but
I do
it might
that.
be
See,
worth it.
I do that.
in this article, he says, "I've owned the Wankel powered car, and I can confirm all the horror stories you've heard about the engine are true, which is why this car having the V8 is excellent news." look, I am all for leaving factory engines in a car. Truthfully, if I had one, I'd probably leave the factory engine in it too. But I'm not gonna deny that it's. I'm not saying it's like you drive it 5 miles and it blows up.
That's what everybody seems to think about it.
No, I understand you can put some miles
20,000 miles on a car that you're not going to drive every day is fucking plenty for a race car.
I would be mad if I dropped for instance, 57.
If you're pushing a regular motor, you get to about 50,000 miles. You usually start getting worried. A lot of people say when you get to 50,000 miles on a motor, you shouldn't build it. You have to rebuild the engine before you start making horsepower.
I'm just saying, if 50,000 miles is your expectation from a normal car, I would expect 20 or 30 out of a Wankel. But again, I don't feel like that's justifiable. I couldn't justify spending $44,000 or any amount of money really that's significant on a car with an engine that's only going to guarantee me 30,000 miles of problem-free pleasure driving.
Well, okay, so Hoonigan just did a build battle where somebody built an RX-7 and somebody built a Chevy S10. $10,000, they made an RX-7, 500 horsepower, and so far it hasn't had any engine problems.
Well, okay, so look.
How long has it been running though?
My 57, it's got a Z24 in it, or ZZ4, whatever they call it. It's a souped up crate motor 350, pushing 400 horsepower. That's the engine that it comes in. Granted, it's dropped in a land barge of a car, but you put the pedal down and it goes.
Look, I'm not saying the RX-7 has more horsepower.
I'm not talking horsepower numbers.
I'm just saying it's a fun engine.
I'm not saying it's not.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I acknowledge that it's a fun engine.
It's more expensive, and you get a little bit less than you would from something else, but it's a fun engine.
But if you were to ask me,
and it sounds really good.
If you were to hold a Hemi in front of me or a rotary, I'd take the Hemi every day of the week.
Depends on the car.
I mean, yeah, you're probably right. I wouldn't drop a Hemi in an RX-7, but I would rather work on and modify and drive the Hemi just because I can more affordably do so. And not to mention, it was way more widely produced, which could be another reason that had an LS in it. Because again, we don't know if he had it done or if the previous owner had it done. He may have bought it new, he may not. I don't know. I don't know if it's mentioned in the article. But if he didn't, the previous owner may have dropped an LS in it because at the time, the LS modding community was far superior to the rotary community. Just because the RX-7 was, when it came out, and still is, a relatively expensive car. As a car, not including the maintenance and the work that you have to constantly do to make sure that it doesn't throw itself apart.
I need to do more research into it, because the rotary engine, if you look at it from an engineering point, it should be massively better than a piston, because
it's also
less moving parts.
But the thing is it's also less efficient.
Yeah, I mean,
it's less efficient because it's really hard to burn as much fuel as it injects into it to get proper compression.
For me,
I don't know about that, so I haven't done research on that.
For me, I mean, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you come up with.
That's
me,
another reason why not a lot of development has gone into it, is because it's so much less efficient than a regular piston engine.
My approach to it is, if it was efficient and it was a great engine, why did they quit making it?
Well, they're thinking about bringing it back.
Well, and if they bring it back, we'll see what it does when they bring it back. Because with modern engineering...
Yeah, you could probably do
the reason I think they got rid of it is the fact that not only did you have to worry about your fuel, you also had to worry about your oil.
Mazda,
that's true.
That was part of the design.
Yeah, Mazda is doing a lot with modern gas-powered engines. Like the 2020 Mazda 3s actually... do no spark compression or ignition whenever they're at low RPMs. They run like a diesel car until they hit higher, until you want more out of it. Then you add the spark plugs in.
I mean, yeah, I'd be interested to see what Mazda comes up with if they do reintroduce the rotary engine with more modern engineering. Because again, I feel like they probably got rid of it because you have to worry about fuel and oil, and again, they're dropping it in passenger cars. The average Joe is just buying to drive from work to home and
Well,
wants to look cool.
If they bring it back, it's going to be in a sports car. It's not going to be in a passenger car.
Well, that's fair. But on the flip side of that, what sports cars does Mazda have right now other than the MX-5?
I don't remember what vehicle they said. I think they're trying to bring back it's like an RX-9, so they're talking about.
That's the other thing. The RX-8 was rotary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was not very popular.
No. But a lot of them, if you look at them, a lot of them got 80,000 miles. 80 to 150,000 miles. I mean, that's
not
for me.
bad, but the Magnum's sitting at 180 and still going relatively strong.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying that all
I'm not
that
saying
there's
it's more reliable. I'm just saying
right.
It's a fun engine.
I'm not saying you're wrong. But I enjoy my 5.7. But who knows? I'd be interested if they come back with the rotary. I'd be interested to see how they handle it and how it does, and then see if they've made improvements. If they can make a rotary engine that doesn't burn oil like,
I don't know if that's possible.
fucking
I
gasoline.
think that's part of the design.
I mean, that might be part of the design, but maybe have a reservoir just for that.
Yeah.
Instead of burning motor oil.
Minimize your oil consumption that way.
Because from what I've read, they burned almost as much oil as they burn gas. Like, they burn through oil quick. And that's constant maintenance that you have to do. And oil ain't fucking cheap.
No, it's not.
Every few months, having to drop $45 to get a couple quarts of oil and fill your engine up because your car keeps burning it, on top of having to pay to fill the gas tank up.
That's part of the reason they did away with it.
So, I'd be interested. But it is time for us to go. So, we are going to head out. We will see you all later. Thanks for hanging out with us, and come hang out with us later.
Bye-bye.